We got a pretty amazing update from ASTS during the last night, where the company basically lays out the coming big catalyst we can expect during Q1 2023. And we know that ASTS is an extremely catalytic type of stock, meaning that each spike in the price you see here, the blue line, almost perfectly aligns with a catalyst. Most notably this recent spike from $6 all the way up to $14 when the Blue Walker 3 test satellite finally unfolded, and I've made plenty of videos on this topic, by the way. And now I do believe we have all the power in the world to predict the next spike up. Let me explain. The catalyst. First up, what is the big catalyst that ASTS is warning us about? Well, that's this. The transitioning to testing of direct-to-cell satellite capabilities beginning in Q1 2023. This direct-to-cell phone satellite capability is basically the entire crux of this investment. And once the company is able to prove that this technology actually works, there would be massive news. But Q1 is a 3-month window, so that still doesn't really give us anything substantial to actually trade off. Thankfully, the company does go into substantially more detail and explains to us that they will, number 1, integrate with mobile network operator core networks, including ASTS' own patented Doppler and delay system, starting as early as January. 2, conduct initial 4G LTE and 5G end-to-end connectivity, starting from communication array as early as January. And last but certainly not least, report speed test data in coordination with mobile network operator partners. We do not really have a timeline for the last one, but those are some massive catalysts. These are the kinds of tests that will result in headlines like ASTS might provide internet to your next smartphone, or ASTS connects the previously unconnected with their space-based 5G magic interwebs. Thinking of short titles and headlines certainly isn't my strong suit. The point being, if this company succeeds in connecting their satellites to a real smartphone, news sources around the world will gobble up that news. Of that I am almost certain. And once that publicity happens, imagine what that would do to the share price. Perhaps something like this. How to profit. Now the most interesting part of this video, how can you and I use this catalyst to potentially get slightly or even significantly richer? Well, I do believe we are in a very fortunate position. ASTS is currently trading at an all-time low of $4 per share. I literally got this notification yesterday that it went down to an all-time low of $4.15. The company has literally never been as cheap as it is right now. And as we just saw, those big catalysts might be happening in 1 or 2 months time. That sounds like an almost perfect opportunity for a quick flip. Buy now, hold for a couple of months, and then once the technicals point towards the end of the bull run, sell. And that is exactly what I'm planning on doing. So here's my ASTS backstory and my ASTS future trading plan. I used to own a position of 200 shares of ASTS, which I bought all the way back in 2021 with a cost basis around $7 per share. Then I sold my tiny position in ASTS at around $8 per share during this spike in the share price. That is a significantly smaller profit than I would have had if I did think of this strategy a couple of months earlier. But here we are. Anyways, I sold those bad boys and I started buying again once we reached the $6 mark. And I have been buying the dip ever since. Now I own 250 shares at a cost basis of roughly $5 per share. And I do plan to buy more today and if we dip significantly further. So when I buy a couple of more shares today, I will own significantly more shares than I had just a couple of weeks ago for an even lower cost basis. And that means that I am in a prime position to benefit from the next uptrend. And now the next step in my big brain plan. Once that juicy Q1 catalyst comes around, hopefully during January, I will again sell a significant part of my position. Not all, mind you. The whole point, in my opinion, of trading these shares is to hopefully build up an even larger long-term position in ASTS. Since I love this company as a long-term gamble. But why not use the extremely catalytic behavior of the stock on the short term to my benefit? Well, I do not see any reason as to why I wouldn't. Worst case, if I sell too early, I sold a percentage of my portfolio for a profit. I do not see that as a risk. Or if the catalyst doesn't happen during January, I'll just hold shares in a long-term gamble I actually believe in. And best case, if I can effectively sell the top and buy the bottom thanks to this catalytic behavior ASTS has been showing us, well, then I'll increase my position in ASTS over time. Doesn't seem like a bad risk-reward scenario if I say it like that, doesn't it? Also, quick addition, this is actually very similar to how value investing actually works. There you buy a stock significantly below intrinsic value, preferably with an upcoming catalyst. And then once the stock price closes up on intrinsic value thanks to that catalyst, you sell. To buy another stock or to wait in cash, or to buy the same stock if it dips below intrinsic value again. So this thing I'm trying to do with ASTS is actually very similar in that regard. The only real difference is I do not have an intrinsic value of ASTS to guide me. Since ASTS, because it is so hard to forecast and so risky and so unpredictable, the company doesn't really have an intrinsic value I can calculate. But still, same principles apply. So that is what I'm planning to do with my tiny 3% of my portfolio position in ASTS. What are you planning to do regarding ASTS in your portfolio? Let us all know down below. Now time for the classic YouTuber disclaimer. While I am a registered financial advisor in the Netherlands, I do not have the legal capacity yet to give anyone investment advice. Therefore, this video and any other video on this YouTube channel can never be taken as financial advice. I cannot be held liable for the losses you make while trading according to my opinions. Please do your own due diligence, blah 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 blah, you know the drill. With that said, thank you so much for watching, I love you all, peace.